So good morning, beautiful angels. How are we all going today? It's going to be another hot one here in Ballarat, so we're going to get moving along. So number 4 of 44 easy ways to attract clients. So just choose one that resonates with you and run with it. So today I want to talk about radio talk. So not too much podcasting. Podcasting is really cool, but I'm going to talk about that later on. But let's talk about radio. Many people have forgotten that radio still exists, and more people actually turn to it, especially in the city, as they drive into work and things like that. Sometimes when people are in a rush, they don't get time to put on their podcasts, etc. But radio talks are absolutely amazing. And the story I'm going to tell you today is about a radio talk that actually just kind of occurred kind of by accident in a way, and then led to other things. But before I get started, I want to talk to you about our training for 2022. So we have 3 amazing courses, fully accredited and recognized as well. So the first one we have is Healing of the Inner Child. It's $49. You can do it in person or online. Then we have our gut-directed hypnosis. If you need those CPD or OPD points to keep your registrations, then jump onto that. And we also have our anxiety and depression hypnosis protocol. Very, very proud to be presenting that. Honestly, anxiety and depression, it's weaved in with the gut-directed as well. So if you want to do the whole lot, please, by all means, jump in on that and we can do the whole lot. So when is it? Jump onto our website, palinandpalmer.com/events. Now, if you want to do the whole lot, if you want to do the anxiety, depression, hypnosis protocol, jump onto that, and we will actually be offering the gut-directed and heal the inner child completely for free. But what you need to do is you need to register for this one, and then I'll contact you and book you in for the other ones, because you may want to do some online, or you may want to do it in person. But where are we actually doing it? So the first lot of training is in May. So we're starting it then. So if you need a pay plan, it's no extra charge. Contact me. I will help you out. The only one I don't offer a pay plan for is the Healing of the Inner Child, because it is only $49. So it's super, super cheap. So our first lot of training is starting in May, and then the next in-person training, so this lot will be via Zoom, and then the next lot of in-person training will be in Melbourne, fingers crossed, and if not, we'll merge that to an online criteria. We are hoping to get to New Zealand in September as well, but we'll know more about that later on. So please jump onto that. You will learn 3 hypnosis modalities that are brand new inside of the gut-directed hypnosis protocol. You'll be learning all about the vagal tone, the Japanese hypnosis techniques, and paradox healing. So that's actually really, really cool. And I'll be talking about the vagal tone at Vegas as well. So you can just come on down and book with the buttons down here. Now, if you need a pay plan, shoot me a message directly and I'll sort that out for you. The earlier you start your pay plan, the easier it can be, because we work out what is easiest for you. So if you've got, say, 10 weeks until we start, then we can do it over a period of 10 weeks instead of trying to book at the last minute and paying half now and half later. Okay, guys? So jump onto that and make sure you are registered and ready to go, so we can send you your books, we can get your whole criterion up and running, and you can just come along and have a great deal of fun. The Healing of the Inner Child has been absolutely massive for me, even running it as group workshops, and then it's usually led into the gut-directed, people asking questions, or anxiety, depression, and then I weave those two in together into this whole life project, and it's just fantastic. I absolutely love it. All right, guys, so let's get on with today's criterion. All right, so let's talk about a radio segment. Now, remember, with all of these ways to attract clients, just choose what resonates with you. So a radio segment, or even just an interview, can absolutely launch you full blown. Radio is still very much alive, and many radio stations are looking for segments to engage in, and having a hypnotherapist or even a natural healer is a rarity for them. They will be honored to have you. So let me tell you my story about Pick a Potato. So a little while back, I was Harvey Norman have the radio go into their shop, And I was listening to the radio whilst I was doing dinner one day, and John was working at Harvey Norman. And they were talking about how they wanted to do this segment called Pick a Potato, but the guy who was running it wasn't real keen on the idea. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to segue this and go down there, because trust me, I was so friggin' nervous. I was shaking, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually going to go down and do this. I'm like, no, I'm going to do it, Trish. I'm going to do it. So I took a deep breath in and I went down to Harvey Norman because I knew the radio station was there. And they were talking about Pick a Potato and how, should you follow your dreams and all that sort of stuff. And that was my cue. So what I did was I grabbed a potato, I stuck some little googly eyes on it. I went down to Harvey Norman and I went up to the radio people. They'd just done their segment. They were on sort of like, a song break as such. And I said to them, I said, hi, I'm Trish Palmer. I am a hypnotherapist and I'd like to support Pick a Potato. And I handed them this little potato with googly eyes on it. And they all started laughing and having a great time. And they're like, oh, you're a hypnotherapist. And I'm like, yeah, I am. I said, I've been here for a couple of years. I'm very, very busy. And they're like, we'd love to do a segment with you. I was like, fantastic. Let's talk. So then I went and did a segment with them, and we were doing a fear of heights hypnosis live right there on the radio. And the amount of people that were listening and then suddenly picked up the phone going, wow, Trish, didn't even know you were in town, etc. Because I was already busy. I wasn't advertising a lot. And it just went absolute off chops. And then a couple of months later, they rang me again and they're like, would you like to do a hypnosis for somebody who's struggling with their eyesight? And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's give it a crack. Like, I'd never done that before in my life, honestly. And I'm like, yeah, sure, let's give it a crack. So we did that, and the person was like, oh my gosh, I can see now. I'm feeling so much more relaxed, because they'd stressed themselves out so much. Like, stress was the main indicator here. They'd stressed themselves out so much that they kept on taking their glasses off and rubbing them and kept saying, oh, what's going on here? And their eyesight got even better. And all of a sudden, the radio station was like, this is amazing. And it was so much fun to do. Was I nervous? Absolutely. Absolutely. But was it great fun? Totally. It was totally great fun. So go to your local radio station and talk about doing a segment. The best part about COVID now is that most of the time they'll organise to talk to you whilst you're on the phone, and you don't even have to go in. And the radio segment, they'll send you a recording. Some places will. Otherwise, just jump on your radio and record it yourself. They not only do it over the radio, but most of them have turned it into a podcast as well. So they'll put it on their podcast station or their YouTube channel or even their website. So it's huge amounts of exposure for doing what it is that you naturally do. So jump on a radio segment. But here's some tips, okay? Keep on target with the subject, because, most radio stations are either really serious topics or they're having a funsy joke. And funsy joke ones, they tend to segue here, there, and everywhere. Jump into the mode and go with it. Ask questions and answer them as well. So don't be afraid to ask your radio host questions and get that conversation moving backwards and forwards. It doesn't always have to be them asking you. Be open to criticism, okay? Take it as feedback. They're going to take the piss out of you because that's what they want to do. So go with it, laugh and enjoy it. Know your content. That's one thing that especially when I first started, like, people were like, oh, you're a hypnotist, tell me more. And I'd sort of get this verbal diarrhea. Okay, know your content, write it down, go for a walk, and just keep reading it, talking it out to yourself. Record your own voice onto your phone and put it in your headphones, and then start listening to yourself and start talking out what it is that you want to know more about. Become that professional, okay? Expect the unexpected, because it will happen, okay? Because even they're just turning around and going, where do we go from there? They're winging it just as much as you do. So expect the unexpected. Make your voice engaging. You have so much power when it comes to being a hypnotist inside of the tone of your voice. Get into character. Bring your voice to life. Because if you're sitting there going, and just relax and breathe deeply and blah, 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 yes, I'm a hypnotherapist, you're going to bore the customers, you're going to bore the listeners, and then suddenly the radio station's going to go, thanks for that, and you're not getting another gig again, okay? Do a demonstration. Many radio stations actually have a Facebook page or a web page, so they will do the videos for you and do a demonstration and ask you if they want to put that on there. Contact details. When you're talking about contact details, repeat, especially on radio. So make sure you stick to that one form where you can say, hey, contact me on my webpage. Contact me on my webpage. Absolutely. Contact me on my webpage. Keep your contact details to 2 simple formats. I always just go with contact me on my webpage or look me up on Facebook rather than phone numbers, because many people can't remember phone numbers. So just look me up on my webpage, pellandandpalmer.com, or my Facebook of the same name. Ask for an ongoing segment and work with the presenters. Don't be afraid to say, hey, is there any other segments you'd like to do with me where we can do awareness, we can do mental health or coaching or building? You'll be very surprised how many of them will go, you know what, let's get you in once a month for 3 months and go from there, because it might be just a mini segment or a mini series. So ask them and they'll get back to you. They really will. It's free advertising and it's very, very powerful. They do all of the criteria and they'll put in all of the sounds. They'll make it sound great. So all you've got to do is sit there, do what it is that you naturally do anyway, and make it engaging and compelling. It'll be hugely great for you. Then you can ask for that segment and then whack it onto your webpage, put a backlink to it so that you get more Google Analytics, and then boom, Bob's your uncle. You'll be getting clients in no time. So that's 44 easy ways to attract clients. Jump onto those radio stations, give them a call. There's some local ones that are always looking for presenters. And then if you prove yourself well, you might even get a bigger segment. Who knows? All right, I'll catch you on the flip side, my angels. Go and have an amazing weekend and just chill out. It's stinking hot here in Australia at the moment. So remember, like Dan Andrews says, get on the beers. See ya.